Hello, hello. Welcome to the Confident Woman Lead podcast. This is Anita, and I hope that you are having a lovely week. For some of you, I know the babies are headed back to school. My youngest, who is not a baby, this is his senior year, and we are excited. He's also in the dual enrollment program. And so this year is busy. I thought our junior year was busy, but this one is starting out to be busy as well. So while we don't have as many extracurriculars or as many classes, there's all the new things that are coming with this chapter of life, both for him and for myself. All right, so today we are going to answer another question that is coming or that I've answered inside of Confident Women Lead. My goal is that you guys see the type of questions that we're talking about with the understanding that when I say that you can come inside of Confident Women Lead, you can ask me your questions, get the resources. This is what I'm talking about. So this particular question is who to use as a reference. And when I say a reference, I mean whether or not you are applying for a job or even depending on how your promotional opportunity takes place, who can you use to vouch for you, to add credibility to you? So in this case, this question came from a podcast listener, but also this is a member inside of our CWL community. She is actively working on her next promotion and she's thinking about kind of who does she need as references, who does she know that can vouch for her if asked, and things like that. So one of the questions that she asked me, and she asked me a very specific one that I'm going to answer here as well, but I want to make it bigger so that answer the question for all of you more holistically. And that is, can you use a direct report as a reference? And the short answer is, while it may seem tempting to use someone who reports directly to you as a reference, especially if they have expressed how much you've helped them grow, it is generally not the best choice. And let me explain why and give you some broader considerations for choosing the right reference if you need one. Key considerations when you are choosing a reference. Number one, diverse perspectives. Your references should provide a well-rounded view of your skills and experiences. Ideally, you do want it to be a mix of people who have seen you in different contexts, in different atmospheres, in different environments. So perhaps a supervisor, a peer, or someone that you worked with on a cross-functional team that you've led. Number two, trust and reliability. You want to choose references who not only think highly of you, but who will also respond promptly and professionally when contacted. Reliability is key. Number three, relevance to the position. Select references who can speak to the skills and experiences most relevant to the position you're seeking. For a senior leadership role, this might mean people who have seen you lead large teams, large projects, or have seen you drive strategic initiatives. Number four, credibility. Your references should be individuals who are respected in your industry or organization. Their opinion should carry weight with the decision makers. Number five, current relationships. While it's fine to include a long-term mentor or a former boss, make sure some of your references can speak to your recent accomplishments and growth. Number six, ethical considerations. Using a direct report can put them in an awkward position. They might feel pressured to give a positive response, which could compromise the integrity of the process. Not just the process from a paperwork perspective, but what does it say about you from a leadership perspective? Let's talk a little bit more along those lines about, again, why not or why I don't recommend it be a direct report. Okay, number one, power dynamics. Y'all remember those in banking, you have to take annually like harassment type of trainings. whether it's sexual harassment or just any type of harassment, this when you ask a subordinate to do something like this on your behalf, it gives very much not necessarily harassment, but a quid pro quo type of vibe. It gives a if you do this for me type of a feeling, which then goes back to ethical considerations because there is a power dynamic. It is a power dynamic that even though you guys get along, that you treat your subordinates or the people that report to you as individuals and as humans, there is an inherent power imbalance in that relationship. The direct report will likely feel obligated to give a glowing reference, even if they don't feel that way about you, because what else can they say and still have a good working relationship with you? Number two, they also have a limited perspective. While a direct report can speak to your management style, they can't comment on how you handle peer relationships. They may not really have visibility to how you navigate complex organizational politics or how you interact with high-level leaders and stakeholders. Three, potential bias. Decision makers might view a reference from a direct report, especially a current direct report, as biased or less valuable than one from a peer or a superior. Number four, professional etiquette. In many corporate cultures, asking a direct report for a reference is seen as putting them in an uncomfortable position. Again, professional etiquette, ethics, power dynamics, you see how it's not given what you really ultimately are trying to give by getting a reference to begin with. It's speaking to your credibility, your skills, your ability, and this undermines that in a capacity. So, what are some better alternatives? Instead of a direct report, consider these options. Number one, a former boss, someone who has directly supervised your work and can speak to your leadership abilities. Number two, a senior colleague, a peer, or someone slightly senior to you who has worked closely with you on important projects. Number three, clients or stakeholders, someone outside your immediate team who has benefited from your work and or your leadership. Four, a mentor. Number five, a cross-functional team member, a colleague from another department who can attest to your collaborative skills and broader impact. Remember, your references are a crucial part of your career story. They should be carefully chosen to highlight your strengths, showcase your growth, and align with your career goals. And while it can be flattering when a direct report wants to sing your praises, it's usually best to look for elsewhere for professional references. Now, one way you can have your praises sang if someone on your team makes the offer is to have them go and write it on LinkedIn, right? That way it's there for folks to see, but you are not making the request. You're not asking them to, what I would consider formally document it or to talk to someone on your behalf. All right, so that is all for who to use as a reference and how do you choose the right employment reference. Remember, confident women lead by choosing the right references that best showcase who we are as leaders.